I'm Emily. I'm Al-Anon. The speaker that is here tonight is simply wonderful. He's been a huge influence in my husband's recovery and so many others. I've enjoyed listening to many of his speaker tapes and the passion he brings when he speaks. He speaks the truth and the need to work the 12 steps. He knows that following these few simple steps works in so many individuals' lives, including his own. He knows the program of Alcoholics Anonymous works, and his talks show that God is truly working through this man. Before I met him in person, he was my hero, so naturally when I met him, I asked for his autograph. I think he thought I was joking and walked away, and again, naturally, I followed him and said, "So will you sign my big book?" He told me he's just an old drunk and that I was a sick woman. Which I was not offended that such a cool guy would say that to me, but he did end up signing my book. So I have been incredibly excited to hear him speak again in person. I've been telling everyone to come, which I now regret because I'm so nervous. But I know that all of you will enjoy tonight and what he has to say, and with that, I'm excited to introduce Chris Raymer.
If I said half of what people say I said, never mind. My name is Chris Raymer. I'm a very grateful, recovered alcoholic. And I am delighted to be here. Dadgum. San Angelo has changed a bunch. It's been a long time since I spoke over here. And I'm driving in and it looks like Houston, for heaven's sakes. And then I turned onto this street. I thought, oh, there's San Angelo. There's my peeps out here. You're going to watch this side, aren't you?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. I got the biggest guy in the place yeah. Don't come up here on this side. I know I'll jump through the ceiling. Man, I'm honored to be here. Dadgummit, I was just texting Jerry. He's wishing he could be here, and it's so cool. The people that you meet over the years. Chris, I mean, there's a bunch of people in here I have known forever, and it's just to get to be a part of that. Maybe it's just me getting older. But I just appreciate the daylights out of it. And God, my life has changed so much, it's not even funny. I got sober November 13th, 1987, and finally. But I got to tell you, I spent 7 years in and out of Alcoholics Anonymous trying to get sober. That's part of my story. And I'm not just, I can't share without saying this, guys. I'm up here to share my experience. My experience may be completely different than your experience. That's okay. Those old timers when I got sober said, "Man, if you want to piss anybody off in Alcoholics Anonymous, just say anything." I said, "Yeah, true. You'll find the minute you disagree with what I say, that I'm evil." And I'm like, "Guys, it's just my story. That's it." But I don't know. West Texas. We were born out in Odessa, and I got an identical twin brother. He's in the program too. He got sober a few months after I did, which I never let him forget. I am way more sober. My identical twin brother. I was like, "Yeah, one day you'll understand." I have two little sisters. I got a little sister and an older sister. We were, like I said, raised out there in Odessa, and my father printed an oil field magazine, and I've just got this thing for West Texas. Wonderful family. I just need to say it. There was no goofy stuff in our family. There's no trauma. And you got to listen to some people talk to the podium. They spend 45 minutes talking about how evil their families were. And it's like, buddy, I'm sorry that you went through that. We didn't. We did. My father was an alcoholic. He was a periodic, a nice, kind, gentle man. But we caught the bullet. It's genetics. Can y'all get that? There's a little eggy. There's a little spermy. "I'm coming to get you." Bam. You're an alcoholic. The jury's in, folks. I can send you the documents. You can check it out. It's like I'm an alcoholic because of this. I'm an alcoholic because of that. Guys, this whole thing got exacerbated because of all that stuff. And I'm sorry you went through it, but I got to tell you, you can come out the other side doing pretty good. It's a pretty cool life. And I'm rooting for you. I know we got some early sobriety in here. Just don't stop. Y'all are lucky to be in a group like this that reads that preamble, that talks about the solution. And honored to be here. Pops moved us in 1964, I guess. God dang, I'm getting old. I was 11 years old. I lost this eye in a rock fight. That's all we do in West Texas is throw rocks. Some of y'all are still doing that and making a lot of money, huh? Doing it. What the hell? And moved us up to Kerrville, Texas. We grew up there, and I'm 17 years old, I guess. January 1971, I took my first drink and leaned up against one of those big old cypress trees and drank a bottle of Boone's Farm apple wine. You know, see, it's like Kenny. You know, that bottle in front of me wasn't this great big bottle. It was just a little chicken chip bottle, and it just, yeah. And I was going to share it with a friend of mine. I don't know where he got it, but we, you know, and he took a couple of sips and spit it out. He says, "That tastes like crap." And I said, "Yeah, it does. It's not anything like I thought it was going to taste. But I'm going to finish it." Okay, I just was saying, it's the first time I'd ever had any alcohol in my system. I'd had sips of my dad's, you know, beers before and all that, but I'd never had enough to, and that, I just, oh my gosh, I'll never forget. I walked across that field that night, and that cold January night, and a big old full moon out there, and big grin on my face. It's the first time I ever felt comfortable in my skin. And I've heard 1,000 speakers say the same thing. Y'all understand? It's just, we all, God, if alcohol didn't work for us folks, we wouldn't do it. It's just, I don't care what I got to do. I want that feeling again. And it's like, the assumption that everybody assumes that alcohol does the same for everybody. It doesn't. For alcoholics, the way we're wired, it does something very special. And it treats that internal discomfort. I was an uncomfortable little kid, guys. I got to tell you, at 13 years old, I remember my mom coming out and thumping me on the side of the head. She said, "What's wrong with you?" You know, and it's like, I was just, I was miserable. I says, "I just feel terrible. I just feel useless." 13 years old. It's called untreated alcoholism. Fact, guys. When y'all are sitting around tonight smoking, just sitting around thinking, think back in your childhood before you ever started drinking and ask yourself what you were feeling like. Man, I can name you a million alcoholics I've ever talked to that were irritable, restless, and discontent. Full of fear, depressed, all this internal stuff. And of course, we still want to continue to blame it on everything external, but the truth of the matter is, I'm uncomfortable as I can be. And high school, senior year, football, you know, I wasn't playing football, obviously, but, you know, was out there, cake party after the, you know, tiny high school, you know, just like a million other kids. No big deal, no problem. Got a job cooking. I was working when I was 16, guys. I was busboy at a hotel there in Kerrville, Texas, and I got my dad's work ethic. I got his alcoholism, but I guarantee you, got his work ethic. And never looked back. Got an opportunity to move to Houston. Got a big old hotel over there that offered me a job. You know, I knew some people that let me apprentice at this big hotel in Houston. And my twin brother and I he'd gone to school here in San Angelo. So one of my first visits to San Angelo was visiting him. And who knew that there was that much drinking in San? Maybe it was just him, but anyway, yeah. He had a Volkswagen Beetle. I don't know where he got it. He might have stole it from one of y'all, but he got it while he was here in school. And on the back end of it, there was a bumper sticker that said, "Get drunk and be somebody." Yeah. We're 18 years old, guys. In Texas back in the day, you couldn't even buy booze at 18 years old, right? And we're driving this how we kept from getting arrested, I have no idea. But we'd find somebody in Houston that was older than us and get us some booze, and we got us a little apartment with some green shag carpet. Y'all remember back in the trim line phone? There was a couple of beanbag chairs, and it was a bachelor pad. I think there was 5 of us living in this rat hole, and it was okay, guys. I got a great job and was doing pretty good, pretty successful. But I got to tell you, after a period of time there, and I guess I'm not getting in on any trouble drinking. But I'm brewing it on a real regular basis. But I'm battling this thing called depression. I am just not a happy camper. And I'm convinced that living in Houston, Texas is causing it. I'm going to move to Austin, Texas. Like there's no booze in Austin, Texas. Right? Guys, y'all remember we got some old geezers in here. Remember, home of the armadillo. But I mean, it was a party town back then. And now I think they're too dignified. But anyway, back then we were all a bunch of hippies and everybody was doing all this crazy stuff. Got a great job at a country club out there. Was making some really good money. And I was there a few years and went to Atlanta, Georgia. Then left Atlanta, Georgia, and went to Vernon, Texas, and did wheat harvest. And because I was going to get out of the food business because I'm drinking too much. Y'all follow? Who knew those Wheaties drank like that? I mean, I'm the only guy I know that wrecked a combine like that, just augured it in. They said, "Do you know how to drive a combine?" Absolutely. No, I don't. Who knew you could damage one like that? And guys, and just all this moving around stuff, geographics. I was laughing. I still drive a pickup because you never know. I don't know. I've been sober 34 years, but you might need to move again. Who knows? And still got a pickup. God, always running from something. On one of these little moves, I went back to Houston, Texas. I love the city, and went back in there and bought into a little barbecue restaurant, and looked like a chance to make some pretty good money. This was an old established place, and I'm drinking myself spitless. It's just, that's all I can say. I married a little girl because I thought that would fix me. How many of you guys have ever done that? Yeah. We started this deal, back in the day, soon after that, we moved up to North Texas, and I got a job at a country club, and I wanted to be closer to my twin brother. We're kind of inseparable. And went up there, and I'm seeing a little therapist, because, I'm uncomfortable. Yeah, guys, I just got married. Bought my brand new little home, and, I got a little semi-new pickup truck. That's Texas, guys. Y'all understand that? Yeah, girls, job, pickup truck. Yeah, you got it. And it's just a mess, but I'm uncomfortable as I can possibly be, and I'm seeing this therapist, and I see the doctor. The doctor's got me on some medications, and trying to. Everybody's trying to figure out why I'm drinking, guys. And it's starting to affect my career, which I didn't want it to do. I've never been a home guy. If it affects my home, that was never a deal. But the bar that I didn't want to get under was the career. It started affecting and it started to do that. People started passing me over for promotions. Chris, you're a good guy. You do a great job, but we don't know, what you're going to do. I'm not ever missing a job. Y'all understand it? I've never missed a job ever in my drinking, ever. I'm awesome. I just say it. But I'd show up drunk. I'd be on the job drinking. Of course, in the food business, nobody gave a poop. If you showed up and you did what you're supposed to do, you're all right. That's okay. But I'm a miserable little camper. And this is the 80s, and I know this is an AA club, and I just absolutely love it. Drugs figured in there a little bit. All I'm going to say is that this was early 80s. Everybody in the United States was doing cocaine. Everybody. Even people that didn't drink or do drugs was doing cocaine. Miami Vice was, all right, y'all understand that. We all thought we were little drug runners, and oh my God, you'd go to a wedding and that would be it. Anyway, I did some of that stuff with a buddy of mine that I worked with, and she was a chef that I actually worked with, and went home and been drinking all day long, and came home and had a little pushing match with my wife. And I'm one of those little guys raised in a family where we don't push women. I don't give a poo. I don't remember what the fight was about. I was hollering and she was hollering, and it was a big old scene. She asked me to leave, and I left. Came back a few hours later and apologized and asked her forgiveness. And she said, what was that about? And I finally got honest with her. I told her. I told her about the outside issues, and she knew there was a problem because our bank account stayed empty. Y'all follow? She knew there was a problem. She knew I drank, but she didn't know how much I was drinking. And I told her I'd stopped. And guys, I'm going to tell you, I cannot share it from the podium and not say it. When I looked her in the face with tears in my eyes and asked her forgiveness and told her that I was going to stop, I meant it with every fiber in my body. I get so frustrated, guys, because there's so many people in Alcoholics Anonymous. These people come in, and the minute they relapse, they come in, they sit for a couple of weeks, and they go back out and relapse, and there's always some smart knucklehead in the corner. Yeah, I knew you didn't want it. I knew they weren't ready. I knew that. You don't know jack. Because when I said I wanted to get sober, I meant it. And I've watched thousands of them come into treatment. I worked in that industry for 28 years. Watched a gazillion people come in. Guys, they don't understand the same thing I didn't understand. I don't have the power to manage the decision to stay stopped. If you could stop because you want to or need to, you're not one of us. Go do it. Well, I'm just not ready. Rock on. Good deal. I went to an AA meeting the next day, guys, and thank God I did. And they were the nicest people in the world. I want to assure you that they did not read the preamble that we just read. Y'all follow? This is a typical, we're going to read how it works, and then we're going to say, okay, well, this is your meeting. If you've got a problem, let's talk about it. And then they would. You got a room full of people dying of alcoholism, but we're going to talk about your dead cat. Okay. And some of you like those meetings, and I'm not knocking them. I'm just knocking them a little bit. Okay. God, open discussion, hell. There was an article. Any of you ever want the history of it? There was an article in the Grapevine back in the early 70s that talked about bringing your problems. Bill Wilson, the cats are trying to get in bed with the treatment centers at the time. So they talked about this continuation of therapy. You come in and you talk about the problem. Okay, that's great. But everybody caught on to that, and all the meetings that were studying the big book all of a sudden turned into these open discussion hell where you could go in and talk about anything you wanted. Yeah. It's not a good idea. In the foreword of the first edition, it talks about precisely how we recovered. Let me see if I can find it for you. I love the forewords. We of Alcoholics Anonymous are more than 100 men and women who have recovered, there's that word, from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. To show other alcoholics precisely how we have recovered is the main purpose of this book. I spent 7 years up in Alcoholics Anonymous up in North Texas, folks. 7 years, in and out of the doors. Never owned a big book. Never got a sponsor. Y'all understand? Never worked a step. Guys, and I'm going to take all the responsibility in the world. I didn't ask anybody, but at a certain place, you're free to disagree, we're going to have to understand that the newcomer doesn't know the questions to ask. I'm in the meeting doing exactly what you're telling me to do. Keep coming back. 90 meetings in 90 days. Hate it. Why don't we just tell the newcomer to go to lots of meetings? That I can do. But you set a goal there, 90 meetings in 90 days, it's easy for that college kid living in his mom's basement. He's not working. Y'all understand? He can go to 120 meetings in 90 days. He ain't doing jack shit anyway. Y'all? Yeah. What about that single mom with 2 kids, working 3 jobs? She ain't going to be able to go to a meeting every day. But we set her up for failure when we tell her that. It's nowhere in our literature. It's absolutely nowhere in the big book. Do you think I feel real strongly about that? I probably owe you all amends. I'm sorry. Because if you're telling people to do that, just keep it up. Just go away. Okay, so. Because I get people coming into treatment all the time. They get upset and they look at me and say, oh my God, I can't do AA. I can't go to a meeting every day. I got to take care of my grandparents. I got you. Nowhere in the book does it say you got to do that. Just go to as much as you can go to, guys. That's where the fellowship is. Let's go. I'm in and out, can't stay sober. I stay sober for short periods of time, and then I come undone at the seams. I don't know how to explain it. I can stop drinking, and about 2 weeks out, I'm driving down the road, flipping people off, feeling the love. Don't y'all understand? I'm going to meeting every day, and I'm just miserable. The bedevilments on page 52 start to come true, right? The fear, the low self-esteem, the feeling of uselessness. I'm coming undone. Y'all understand? I'm seeing a doctor. I'm on 7 prescription medications a day. I mean, I have some legitimate psychiatric disorders. Not like some of you losers. Okay, I'm just... Yeah, it turned out what I had was untreated alcoholism. I just need to throw that out there. I was able to get off all those goddamn meds. But for me, that was my story. But I'm oh my God. And I'll pull into the parking lot and smoke one last little cigarette and roll the window down, flip it out, roll the window back up, drive out of the parking lot. I'm done with AA for a while. I can't make myself go back in there and listen to you talk about your divorce one more time. I can't. Y'all understand? 1987, I picked up a stack of returned checks in my little apartment, and went back up to that little apartment and opened them, and the rent check was bounced, and I'm going to have to go to my sister-in-law, and I'm going to have to borrow some money to cover another checking account. I'm 35 years old. I hate my life. Y'all understand? I'm living in a town I don't want to be in. I'm working at a job I'm no good at. I'm grateful. My twin brother, I'm working for him. And I'm no good at it. I'm just miserable. Can't go to school, And I got up and I fed the ferrets and watered the little sick ivy and took a couple bottles of pills out of the cabinet and tried to commit suicide. Just chicken shit coward's way out. Miserable. I heard a voice that night was, don't do this, go back to AA. About the time those pills hit my stomach. And I made myself sick because it freaked me out. Guys, I heard a voice. I don't know. It could have been the guy's vacuum cleaner next to me. I don't know what it was about. I'd had a few beers, you'll follow, but I was not blind drunk in any stretch of the imagination. And I made myself sick. The voice was still there, and I just like, okay. The next morning, I made a commitment. I'm going to go back to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I got to tell you how that works. There was a piece of equipment. Myers is a bookbinder. And there was a piece of equipment there that I've never seen break down. It's probably never broke down since. But that day it broke down, which meant that I was going to have to stay there and work on it past the time I would usually be off, which would make me late at the meetings I was going to go to. I was going to go back to the same meetings I've been going to for 7 years. And as this luck would have it, I couldn't go to that meeting, and I'm detoxing, and I got to go to this other meeting I'd never been. This guy showed me one time where this was. He said it's a big book meeting. And I knew what a big book guy was, but it didn't sound very appealing to me. You're not going to get a date in there. And, or maybe, I don't know. But I went to this meeting I'd never been to before, and I parked in the back so nobody would know I was there. And it was so funny. We're always so anonymous. 6 months over, my mom told me, she finally admitted, she said, I put you on the prayer list of every church in North Texas. Yeah, everybody knew I was an alcoholic. You could just look at my pickup truck. A big old whiskey dent with a license plate attached. Mom, she looked me in the face, she says, I've been called the Catholics. Oh my God, And it must have worked, guys. I'm telling you, I'm here. Bless her heart. God dang it. And I walked in the back door, and everybody was laughing like we are here. And this is one of those. It's back in the day we could smoke in the buildings. Y'all if we'd have been able to smoke one cigarette, we'd still be smoking in buildings. We couldn't. We'd have to put 6 or 7 cigarettes in there, light them all up at the same time. Damn. And, I walked in this back door, and the ceiling's already lower, and it's about time. It was just like this, about 6 o'clock when the meeting started. And guy up there in the chair had seen me up there forever, and guy named Chris, come up, welcome back. I got real self-conscious and started to leave, and this little girl snuck up beside me on my blind side, and she stuck her finger in my belt loop. She said, sit down, cowboy, you're not going anywhere. Bless her heart. I'd have died if she hadn't done that. Y'all know how God would have done it? If you'd have come up and said, sit down, cowboy, you're not going anywhere, I'd have punched you in the nose, and I'd have gone home. It was just that simple. I'm shocked that this little, her sponsor was across the way and couldn't get to me in the crowded room. The meeting was fixing to start. She said, get him. And she got me. Guys, if you don't have any idea who God's going to use to help you. Truly. Everybody thinks they got it figured. It's going to be that old geezer in the corner. Maybe not. Maybe it's that little guy with the purple hair and the piercings and all that. I don't know. Keep an open mind. You might be amazed. But that chairperson kept looking at me, and he looked back up at the steps, and he looked back, and he said, we got a newcomer coming back in here. And we read how it works, just like we always did. And he says, let's tell Chris, and I knew what was coming. Let's tell Chris how we got here, because I want to listen to your stupid war stories one more time. I can't wait to hear how many times you've been to prison. Y'all follow? Yeah, I'm just thrilled the fact that you ate out of the dumpster. Oh my God. Guys, we got to stop trying to scare people into recovery. Friday night, it's important that you tell you some story. I ate out of a dumpster in Houston, Texas one time. That's okay. If I think anything in my life that can help you, I will do that. Especially one-on-one. But there ain't a person out there that ever thinks they're going to do the crazy shit we're doing. You're not going to scare us into recovery. I have emails from all over the world, guys. I speak all over the world. I've just been blessed to being able to do that, guys. I have never got not one email from anybody ever saying, Chris, I remember you talking about eating out of a dumpster in Houston, Texas, and I stopped drinking the next day. Not once. Not once. The rest of the story. He said, let's tell Chris how our lives has changed as a result of working the steps. I've never heard that before. And they went around and talked about it, guys. And real quick, because I'm watching the clock closer than y'all are. I got my watch down here. The lady kind of catty-cornered to me, had a set of car keys, and she pulled them out of her little purse, and she was holding her car keys up. She just got her brand new car. She was about a year sober. I'd just been turned down 2 weeks earlier. I was borrowing $500 at the bank to buy an old beat-up pickup truck. A lesser old beat-up pickup truck than I had. Y'all follow it? And I got turned down for the loan. And now this little girl's got her brand new car. Guys right across it started a little landscape business. He was all excited about making a little money for a change. I've been living paycheck to paycheck all my life. Got a lady at the end of the table, she got a sketch pad and she'd gone back to school. She was in her 40s and she'd gone back to school. Didn't think she could do it, but she did. And she got a little art degree and she was all excited about some stuff she was working on. Yeah. And this guy next to me kept tapping me on the shoulder and I'm jumping because I can't see him coming, but he had a billfold. He opened his billfold and he threw his billfold down there like that. Now, had these young, remember Polaroids? Can you say Polaroid? Oh, you little knucklehead. Now, yeah, little Polaroid pictures of his little rat kids. And he'd come to AA and met this little girl, and they got married and had a couple little babies. And literally, guys crying, just really looking his completely different life. Yeah, guys, I'm less than 24 hours away, literally less than 24 hours away from a suicide attempt. And those people in that group gave me the one thing I needed more than anything, which was hope. If they'd just done that stuff, let's tell kids how we got it, I'd have died. I'd have died. I'm not knocking our stories, guys. 12-step call, you better have a story. Friday night from the podium, have a good story. Make up some shit. Nobody's going to fact check anything. I don't know what just, yeah. But these guys, I got to tell you, at the end of the meeting, they were putting everything up, and I'm heading out, and I'm starting to detox pretty good. I can't go back to detox, and these old geezers stopped me. This old cowboy got me, and there was two of them. They were old geezers. They're both long passed away now, but this guy is the stereotypical Texan. There's some of y'all in here, right? They got khaki pants on, white snap shirt, y'all got that belt buckle about the size of the dinner plate, yeah, cowboy hat on, just stereotypical Texan. Got them big old goddamn boots. Nobody's foot could be that big, just big old. And he said, Chris, y'all think I'm making this up? He had a Cadillac out in the parking lot with bullhorns on the front. I talk about that in Europe. Everybody thinks I'm making that. It's an honest to God fact. And he said, Chris, sit with us for a few minutes, and maybe we can help you figure out why you can't stay sober. And because I'm indignant, guys. I got a psychiatrist on speed dial, and the old country bumpkin can help me figure this out, But okay, whatever. But go quick, because I got to go. And he said, yeah, you need to drink you some liquid for sure. You need to get your detox. And they sat me down and they opened the big book, guys, and they showed me on the title page where it says you can recover. And they opened the book, says, Chris, let's qualify you. Let's ask you a couple of questions. I've got a little quick guide that I can send you an email in a heartbeat, but it was basically what they did for me all those years ago. We didn't start at the title page and start reading. God help us. Y'all understand? This is like triage, folks. We need to get the bleeding stopped. There's plenty of time to read the book, and I'm not knocking any of that. Our group reads the book, So They qualified me because that's what we did for 7 years sitting in Alcoholics Anonymous, guys. I'm coming in wanting to stay sober, and the window's starting to close. Y'all understand? Yeah. And when that closes, the obsession's going to come back, and you're going to get loaded. A bunch of you in here that have not been able to stay sober. That's why. You're taking too long to do the work. Nobody in Alcoholics Anonymous, guys, in the early days, if you can read the history sites, nobody out there, I can send you the sites, took longer than a few days to work the steps, all 12 steps. They were out there sponsoring, quick. And yet we got people sitting in AA, well-meaning people. This is not a race. Take your time. Easy does it. Think. One day at a time. Some of you are looking like I just pissed you. I'm sorry. I'm so tired of watching people die I could spit. I can't keep you sober, folks. I would. This group can't keep you sober. It would. God gets you sober. The spiritual experience takes place. Even if you hate God, even if you don't believe in God, things change as a result of working the steps. So why do I want you to take your time? They cherry-picked it, guys. They showed me the doctor's opinion where it talked about the physical phenomenon called craving. Says, can you relate to that? Yeah, sometimes I can drink when I set out to drink. I go out and drink a couple of beers. And sometimes I set out to drink a couple of beers and I go drink an 18-pack. Y'all, I can't guarantee you how much I'm going to drink. You couple that with the mental obsession. The book talks about on page 24, we have lost the power of choice in drink. Guys, I don't have a choice whether I'm going to drink. I'm 34 years sober. I didn't get up this morning and choose not to drink. I got up this morning and chose to do my spiritual work. Did my little prayer and meditation. Y'all follow? Driving over here from Ingram this morning, talking to little knucklehead on the phone. I saw my phone and it rang, and it's the little guy that I'm starting to sponsor a week or so ago. Y'all follow? This little guy is a fruit cake. He's a sweetheart. He's going to be good, but he is a handful, And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at his name, and it's coming across ID, and there it is. And I don't want to talk to him. Y'all follow? Oh, shit. Click. Hello. Chris speaking. And then we got to talk for 4 hours. Y'all understand? It's like, that's what I do. And I get to stay sober because of it. On my side, guys, I got to tell you real quick. I went home that night for the first time. I was elated because I finally understood what was wrong with me. Bill Wilson talks about it in the back, talking about Dr. Bob. He says, as much knowledge about himself, but he didn't understand what it meant, fully understand what it meant to be alcoholic. I've called myself an alcoholic for years, buddies. I didn't have a problem doing that. I don't know what it is to be an alcoholic. If you'd asked me in 1987, after 7 years of being in AA, what it was to be an alcoholic, well, I don't know. You robbed the liquor store? I don't know. See, I don't think I'm really an alcoholic because I'm not doing some of the crazy stuff you're doing. Every time you tell me something I haven't done, I can't identify. But you see, when we start talking about the symptoms, the physical craving and the mental obsession, go look around this gathering. Guys, you got a cross-section of humanity in here. Got some good-looking folks, got some butt-ugly folks, we got some young people, old people, black people, white people, gay people, straight people. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference. The thing that ties us all together is the symptoms of alcoholism. We've all got the same thing. Our lives are completely different. We may not identify with each other's lives, but the minute we start talking about the symptoms, we're golden. And I went home that night, cranked up some hot jazz in my little apartment, washed the dishes. I finally knew what was wrong with me. Y'all understand it? I was convinced that I could do this. There was a guy said, Chris, you're going to come back in the morning, and we'll start this work. It seems a little fast. I've been in AA 7 years. Guys, there's nothing fast about this. Y'all, we've got to go. And then we went to the meeting the next morning, and we chased some people out of the back room and got on our knees and did a little third step prayer. And went to eat some Mexican food, came back, and they gave me a little notebook. And they said, Chris, let's start working on a 4-step. Put the people down on this list that you're pissed at. And I said, your name's going on it. He said, yeah. Yeah, it is. I got you. Guys, but let me tell you what happened. I got 2 weeks into this. I got a completed 4-step. I'm waiting for my sponsor to get back in to town so I can dump this stupid 5th step. And these guys have got me busy in this life. And I just can't tell you how fortunate I was to be in that room full with those people. And I'm sitting on the tailgate of my truck in my little apartment, and it dawns on me, it's a Friday night, and I got a pocket full of money. Not much, but y'all, it's payday. I got some money in my pocket, and I'm surrounded by liquor stores and 7-Elevens right up. Y'all understand? I got booze all around me, and I'm sitting there thinking it's like 7 o'clock after the meeting, and I'm sitting there just with this big grin on my face. It's the first time I realized that I don't want to drink, and I'm perfectly okay. Guys, that obsession lifted. I listen to people all the time. You can't recover that fast. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. It takes for years. Guys, it may take years to get well. Some of you guys physically, it may take you a while to heal. To unknot that thing that is your life now. It may take some time to sort that out. But you see, that's not what recovery is. Recovery is not the person in here that's got the coolest life. Recovery is in the person here where the obsession to use is lifted. There is no such thing as a trigger. I don't have to worry about taking a drink. Ever. I got to do a little talk in New Orleans next weekend. We'll probably go down there on Bourbon Street and sin some. That translates to eat too damn much. Is what that is. But I don't have to worry about that, because I'm recovered and that stuff's not going to bother me. I just, whatever. The 10-step promise says we're going to be taken to a position of neutrality, safe and protected. Yeah. The problem has not been, it's been removed. And that's what this is about. Happy little camper. The very next day, I guess it was 2 days later, I walked in there and the same old guy that 12-stepped me like that night, he's come up and says, Chris, we're going to come to the group conscience next Wednesday because we'd have the group conscience at birthday night every time we did it. And I'd never been to a group conscience all those years. He says, come to this group conscience because we want to nominate you for chairman of the cleanup committee. And I said, I'm so not interested in your chairman of the cleanup committee. They figured since I was a chef by profession, that I know how to clean a kitchen. And I do. My wife may disagree, but I do. And I said, I'm not interested. He said, yeah, well, come anyway. And so I came that next Wednesday and stayed afterwards, and there was about 30 people in that group conscience, and they ran and got a flagpole, and they unanimously voted me in as chairman of the cleanup committee. I didn't have a thing to say about it, okay? I'm just like this mad. You can hear that train coming. I've been railroaded like a big dog. I'm just mad. I went in after the meeting, and I said, okay, I've resolved myself to the fact, and I'm going to have to do this. And remember, guys, I've been in there 3 weeks now. And I asked the guy, he's pouring out coffee and stuff, getting ready to leave. And I asked him, I said, perhaps you could give me a list of the other committee members so that we could organize a cleaning rotation for the club. And he spit coffee clear across the goddamn kitchen like that. He says, Chris, there's no committee. You're the janitor at this group. Here's the vacuum. Meet Mr. Hoover, the vacuum cleaner. And there's the cleanup stuff. I was mad. I thought I was going to get maybe a little office, janitor's office, something. No. They gave me the keys. Here you go, buddy. I stayed away 2 days. I was going to punish him. And my brother let me off work one Friday afternoon. The next Friday, and I was right there at 1 o'clock, and I locked myself back in that club, and I cleaned that place like a big dog. And I walked in, it was a lot like this, just cute as it could be. I set those chairs up with a ruler and vacuumed in there and got all that brown stuff out of them coffee pots and the bathrooms. I think it's an Exxon station. What the hell? Clean these things up. Got this thing all lined up. 6 o'clock fixing to start. It's like 5:30. I got a pot of coffee made and I sit back, arms folded, like a happy little camp. This little place looked good. This little lady walked in. You could hear her before you could see her because she was like 140 years old, and at least 140 years old. And she had them little slippers on, she was real short. It looked like a little question mark. She just walked in like this, and she'd walk in, and she'd slide around. Oh my God. I could hear her in the kitchen. She's squealing like shit. She walked back to the bathroom, let out a big old squeal, and I was like, what? She looked around the corner, and she said, did you clean this place? And I'm sitting at a 6-foot table, right? And I was like these, and I'm just sitting there, got my coffee in front of me like that, a little Fruit Balloon t-shirt, all soaking wet. We're just us in the club. I said, yes, ma'am. She walked around behind me, and she got her little skinny bony arm around my neck and gave me a little back hug. I can still feel her breath on my cheek. She said, boy, we need you. I'm going to cry every time I say it. I'm going to remind y'all, I tried to commit suicide 3 weeks earlier because I felt so useless. Do you realize how long it had been since anybody had said, we need you to do anything besides leave the premises? We need you to not call here anymore, son. It's like, okay, I got you. This little lady up there was, boy, we need you. She sat down and we laughed our little butts off and just had a great old time. I was there 5 years in that group. Lord help you if you made a mess in that club. I would eat your ass. But I am in charge. But see, real quick, the old timers understood what this was about. The old guys used to say, you find a job in AA, you'll stay. If you don't, you won't. But you see, I spent a bunch of time in groups where they didn't talk about that. You're not sober long enough to chair a meeting. You're not sober enough to get on that committee. You're not sober long enough to do what? But you see, that's exactly opposite of what Bill Wilson's trying to say. Bill's saying up in the front, he's saying, back on page 129, it says, in those first days of convalescence, nothing will so much as help you stay sober as intensive work with other alcoholics. Find you a little job to help. These little guys coming in before the meeting set the little chairs out. We had a bunch of chairs come in. Vince brought a bunch of chairs. Yeah. Well, you think me setting up chairs is going to keep me sober? Yes. and make some coffee and do a little tidy up after this is over. That's what this is about. Every bit of this is about service. If any of y'all got a chance, I got a chance to speak at Founders Day this last year, and right after, we couldn't do it in person because of COVID, but then right after we went up and did a big workshop for Intergroup there in Akron, and got a chance to go one more time up in the Mayflower Hotel. They'll give you little tours. If y'all ever go, holler. I got the hookup, okay? I can absolute coolest, but I got to stand right there outside those elevators deal where Bill Wilson made his decision. Am I going to go to the end down here and am I going to take a drink, or am I going to go down here and look for a drunk to work with? Bill says, I knew I needed another alcoholic to work with as much as that alcoholic could ever need me. But we got people all over creation in Alcoholics Anonymous now telling newcomers that they can't help anybody. You can't even help yourself. How can you help anybody else? Stop it. We don't do this by ourselves. Those people it took a village to raise Chris Raymer at 35 years old. Y'all understand that? Men and women both. They tried to push me in the right direction. I'd get it over my head. Those old guys said, Chris, if somebody asked you to sponsor, you say yes. And then call me. Because your life's fixing to change forever. Okay. But we have so many people, guys. I watch them come into treatment by the thousands, the guys, and I network with a whole bunch of cats, and they're calling me on the phone, they're talking to me, because Chris, God dang it, I've tried AA. Isn't there something else? It's not that I know of. And I talked to them for a few minutes and find out they did exactly what I did for all those years in AA. All they did was go to a bunch of goddamn meetings, sit around scratch until they couldn't, the pain of not drinking one day at a time would outweigh the benefits in their head, and they'd say, you know what, the heck with it, click, and they'd go get loaded. They didn't choose to get loaded. They chose not to engage to do this work. Service is what it's about. But we got people killing people out there, telling them all you got to do is just keep coming back and everything will be okay. You'll go nuts. And a lot of you have had that experience. You'll go crazy. That illness, as it progresses, that window gets narrower and narrower, guys. It's this spiritual thing, guys. It's spiritual warfare. Every time somebody says that, I sit down and say, ooh, I cleared that. Okay, I don't have to do anything. But alone in my own head, self-pity will come back. Self-pity is what kills alcoholics, folks. Just had a buddy of mine shoot himself a few weeks ago. He is the nicest guy in the world. Came to treatment a few times. I knew him. I sponsored him for a short period of time. Ended up back in Dallas. He's a sweetheart. Never would engage. He's on all kinds of medications. Looking for a reason why he can't get happy. How many people do you sponsor? None. How many service committees are you on? None. How many pots of coffee did you make this week? None. What did you think was going to happen? It's just not doing time, guys. We're not just sitting in y'all. I mean, I could do this all night long. Please. Those people up in North Texas weren't trying to hurt me. They were like sweetheart people. I'm not trying to take their influence. I'm just saying there's a lot of people out there in Alcoholics Anonymous that are not alcoholics. We have sister fellowships out there that are full of a bunch of little drug addicts that are not real drug addicts. Maybe they don't have to do the same things we have to do. But the real McCoy, those are Bill Wilson's terms, the real alcoholic. Look on page 20 and 21. But what about the real alcoholic? That's not a hard drinker, guys. The real McCoy. Who always ends up talking themselves into taking a drink. Guys, you'll be bebopping along. You'll be bebopping along in this sobriety deal one time. I mean, I've heard it 1,000 times. I can sit in my home group, watching the little new guys from the halfway houses come in. Watch these little guys all of a sudden get engaged and they're volunteering for the little service commitment, and all of a sudden you hear this. Everybody looks around. What was that sound? It's that little guy over there. That's his head pulling out of his own asshole, right over there. He's almost well. I mean, oh my God. It's always. You look around. Oh my God. I can't believe the obsession's gone. I feel useful for the first time in my whole entire life. It's an amazing place to be. But the spiritual warfare is that you don't need to do that. Y'all understand? That's what it is. Stop listening to that voice. Don't listen to the people that are telling you can find a niche. I don't know what it's going to be. It may be decorating the room, maybe cleanup, maybe coffee. I don't know what it is. But I don't go to a meeting today thinking about what I'm going to get. I go to a meeting to see what I can give. under any circumstances. The noose around my neck is that I've got some sobriety. And pretty soon it's pretty easy for me to say, I don't need to do that. Let them younger guys take care of that. Pretty soon I'm sitting on my butt feeling sorry for myself. I'm susceptible to get sick again as anybody. If I keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, though, guys, that's not going to happen. Self-pity is about as nasty as it gets. I got a great little bunch of quotes I can send you. If you're interested, I'll give you my email. But it's just something that we see a lot of people. I'm not saying that you're not going to have, guys, some of us are going through tough times. Being sad is one thing. Y'all understand that? Grief is something. I'm not saying that we're going to have rainbows and sunshine every day and it's just going to be, but just to sit around and rationalize why it's okay for you to be miserable is insanity. That's what we got to be careful for, folks. We watch a lot of time. Everybody, they leave treatment and they relapse and everybody, well, what happened? It didn't matter what happened. How many of you guys drank when everything was great in your life? How many of you drank when everything was crap in your life? Daylight. Nighttime. Rock and roll music. John Connor. We do this all day long. And y'all understand that? Nothing out there can get you loaded, folks. Nothing. The little knucklehead walking down the road, buddy, he's had a spiritual experience as a result of doing the work, and his life turns to shit. He's going to hurt. But he's going to walk through it with grace and dignity, and he's not going to drink. That's what this is about. What kind of a program will we have, friends, if it only worked when things were going good? It works when things are going good, and it works when things are going bad. Nothing like it. Yeah. But the price that's got to be paid is you've got to get rid of selfishness. Bill Wilson talks about on page 62. The selfish and self-centeredness, that's the root of the problem. Didn't say alcohol is the root of the problem. That's the problem. Let's get in there and see who we can help and see what happens. I got to end with this real quick. I'm watching that clock. Any of y'all cyclists in there? Any of you guys ever ride a bike? Motorbikes count. I know some of you hoodlum-looking sons of it. I know that counts too. But I'm a cyclist. I just get on a bicycle and ride. One of the first things we teach you when you start riding a bicycle, besides how to put your little stretchy pants on, is to pay attention where you're going. In other words, if you're going down the road and you see this pothole right here, don't look at the pothole because you'll turn right into it. Get it? You're coming down a hill and there's a sharp left curve. Don't look at the guardrail. You'll hit the guardrail. The bike will take you. Just look at the line you want to take, and the bike will take you. We got too many people in Alcoholics Anonymous. All they want to do is look at the bad. All they want to do is look at the problem. It's time for a whole bunch of people to change their attitudes towards that and start looking at the good stuff. I know you've got a bunch of stuff to deal with back here. Welcome to men, let's take care. But it's time for some of us to start getting excited about our lives. The people that I sponsor out there, the people that I watch get excited about their lives, they do well. Look at where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. Stop looking at the past. It's past. Let's start. It's time to get excited about a cool job. You're working at a job you hate. Let's start looking at a better job. You're living someplace you don't like. Let's start getting excited about that. When's the last time you painted a picture, wrote some music, did something creatively? What does it got to do with? It's got everything to do with everything. You read Bill Wilson's articles on it. They've done study after study. You get your little creative juices going, you're going to stay on the path. You'll be on the Spirit. That's where God is. Amen. But you want to get alone by yourself, watching TV, feeling sorry for yourself, you're going to struggle, guys. That's where you're going. Let's start looking at the good stuff. Surround yourself with some people that will help you stay on that path. So important, folks. That's why I love sober living facilities. That's why I love halfway houses. Because you have to be around other people. Find some people in that house that are excited about their life. Getting excited. Time to look at going back to school. Starting some businesses. That person that told you that you can't make any major decisions for the first year told you wrong. You need to be making some decisions. Just, that's what the book said. Time to get happy, folks. And God dang, if I can do anything to ever help you get to that spot, let me know. I'm going to tell you, thank God we had Zooms when the COVID hit, and I'm still loving Zooms. I love to get on it. It's so cool. I give you a list of them, of the ones that we like. There's a bunch of great ones out there. You can pop on and talk to people from Japan and Europe and Russia and they're all in the same thing. They're all laughing, having a good time, but you got to participate. Some of those little guys will hold me accountable. It's called spiritual consent. My old sponsor used to talk about, and I give people in my life spiritual consent to hold me accountable. If I'm heading in the wrong direction, looking stupid, doing something I'm not supposed to, they'll correct me. God damn, Chris, we didn't see you last week at the meeting. Where you been? Mind your own business. I'm 34 years sober. No, I don't do that. I go, yeah, you're right. I got tied up. I'll see you Monday night. Thank God for that. Get you some people around you that'll hold you accountable. I don't mean somebody that's always in your face criticizing you. I'm just keep you poking to the light. That's what it's about. Because I got to tell you, folks, I never saw so much double-digit sobriety end up back in treatment than I did the last 2 years. These are good, sober people who were just going to meetings. They weren't doing anything else. They wouldn't get on Zooms for the same reasons I didn't want to. Y'all understand? Yeah, it was kind of uncomfortable just learning how to do it. But by themselves, they got in trouble and they dropped through the cracks. We got so many people out there right now with COVID, in this period of time, away from stuff and the stress that we go through in our country today. Guys, there's so many people out there coming into our rooms. I'm sure you see it at this group. People coming in left and right. Every treatment center in the country is full. Guess what? They're going to need you. Every one of you in here. That little voice that tells you you can't help anybody, please, stop listening to that. I'll repeat it and let you go. Don't think for a second that you know who's going to help you, folks. That little newcomer comes in, he'll walk right straight over the little one-eyed guy. Y'all understand? To get to the little tattooed guy in the back. I've seen it 1,000 times. He don't want anything I got. He wants what that guy's got. Thank you for being here.